Sam, great to have you on the show.
It's good to be here.
Sounds like this guns in parking lot bill has really become a hot button issue. Your reaction to all of this?
Well, I think it's been blown out of proportion, to be honest with you. I think it could have been handled quickly, easily, but the leadership in the House, in particular in the Tennessee General Assembly, has been so adamantly opposed to it that they've made the mountain out of the molehill, in my opinion.
Well, and FedEx is among the companies against this, along with the Chamber of Commerce, which we have seen time and time again. You work for FedEx, and I know you testified in support of this bill. What do you think is driving the opposition?
I personally have always felt like the real bottom line is always with a corporation is money and liability. They talk property rights, which I don't necessarily disagree with property rights as a whole, but the bottom line is they don't want to be sued. They want to make money. They talk like they're concerned about the employee. Come on, they're a big corporation. I'm just a number, a cog in the wheel. If something were to happen to me, they'd replace me tomorrow. And so it's money. It's always the bottom line.
Well, and I know, too, it's just like when right to carry was being pushed. Everybody said, oh, my gosh, it's going to turn into the Wild, Wild West.
Yeah, Florida, the Sunshine State's going to be the Gunshine State. The blood is going to be in the streets on every street corner at every traffic accident.
What did you want them to know about why you wanted to be able to keep a firearm in your vehicle?
Well, I tell you, I have worked there for 32 years, and the commute to and from work, being there for that many years, I have come and gone at just about every hour of the night. It's a 24-hour-a-day operation, and I've come and I've worked so many different shifts. And if you go to many large metropolitan areas, the areas surrounding the airports, large airports, are usually not really the best parts of town. And I have had coworkers held up at drive-thrus at fast food restaurants with guns put in their face. I myself, waiting for a light to change, have had, I know, drug dealers, pimps. I've always tried to be more politically correct and nice about this, but shall we say, working ladies come up to my car and beat on it while I'm sitting there waiting for the light to change. And as people go home at 2 o'clock in the morning and they leave, the problems that you encounter are the possibility of being carjacked, the possibility of having a vehicle breakdown on the side of the road at 2 o'clock in the morning. It opens up the possibility of you having to be able to defend yourself if the wrong people come along.
Absolutely.
And I feel like I am being told that I am not going to be allowed to defend myself in the manner in which I choose, which is to carry a firearm.
Right. And, we all know the police cannot be everywhere all the time. And I know that the governor is talking about a compromise. Key leaders in the House and Senate say they also want to compromise on this guns in parking lot bill. But a compromise on what you say for you is self-protection, self-defense, a compromise on your rights?
I don't think it's not a compromise. I know what they're talking about. There's some issues in the bill which probably could be tweaked a little bit, but in general, there's a couple other bills that have been introduced, which we think are being introduced to draw attention away from the primary bill that was an NRA drafted bill, which is very much in favor of business. It just would not be a workable bill. It would be it would allow guns in parking lots, but the restrictions that it would impose would just make it almost impossible anyway.
And I know that the chairman of the Chamber of Commerce was talking about how Tennessee was named the #1 most business-friendly state in the country, and he's very concerned about the negative impact this bill would have and that it would cost jobs in the future. Do you really think that this bill giving you your ability to protect yourself is going to cost jobs?
No, I don't. If this bill passes and the day after it goes into effect, it's going to be business as usual. The bill places no additional requirements on the employer to verify who's got weapons, to provide safe storage for weapons. There's another individual that's testified along with me who is a business owner. He has actually said his insurance company has not placed any additional burdens on him because he allows his employees to carry. It's going to be business as usual. The guns are going to be stored, locked in the vehicle, out of sight. No one's even going to know they're there. We're going to come to work and we're going to go home from work every day, and this is not going to impact the business's operation. It's not going to. I don't believe it's going to have any impact on Tennessee's ability to attract new industry. The similar laws already exist in I think 16 or so states.
Absolutely.
And actually, in one of the testimonies here just the other day, one of those large corporations, vice president for corporate security, was flat out asked, point blank, if in the other states that they operate where these laws exist and employees are allowed to bring their weapons, have you had any problems? And he said no.
Yep. No surprise, because you're talking about responsible gun owners. And, I really admire you for speaking out. I'm sure a lot of people, other employees, are thankful that you are too. Were you ever concerned what the impact this might have on your job?
Well, I have thought about it. I actually had one committee member actually ask me if my employer knew I was there. And as we spoke, their lobbyist was actually sitting in the back of the room. I have thought about that. I have had different people offer different ideas about what could be the ramifications of me doing this. But in all fairness, I would like to think they understand that I have my right to my political views and opinions and right to lobby for laws that I feel are in my advantage or my favor as much as the next person. The problem, of course, the situation still exists. That Tennessee is a employment at will state, and they do not have to have a reason to fire me.
This is the third year for this guns and parking lot bill. What do you think the odds are that it's going to pass this time around?
I really, at this point, it's hard to say. Things happen in the legislature so fast. We hear so many things in the course of a few days about possible amendments, possible deals, possible this, possible that. We try to count our votes to see who we think are for us, those who are for us and those that are against us. And right now, at this point in time, I think it really could go either way. I think the House leadership, and I'm going to point the finger hard, they don't like it. There's been some communications on some discussion websites that have really put the finger hard on the leadership in the House for their opposition to this, and they have really responded badly about it. They don't like it. But the bottom line is they don't want this. They are catering to big business. Last year, the state loosened the laws regarding corporate donations to political campaigns and opened the floodgates of money. I think the bottom line for them is they want those dollars contributed to their campaigns, and that's why they are kowtowing to the lobby on this, and they are doing everything they can do to kill this. They are pressuring their members on their side of the aisle very hard to not support this.
All righty. Well, Sam, thank you again. And again, I admire you for what you're doing, and I'm sure there's a lot of people out there thankful that you're speaking out on this. Stay in touch, and we'll stay in touch with you as this moves along.
Thank you very much for the opportunity.
All righty, Sam.